Good morning. This is Terry, and kind of up on the hill above McHenry Creek, living over in Martindale, Arkansas. And we've been following a series of short videos I've been sharing with you. And we're talking about the code, one way of putting it. And it's got to do with just our relationship with people. What we need to understand is that people are special. People are precious, and we are too. We have to look at that and say, well, I'm special too. I'm precious. And then know for a fact that these precious people that we know, they're counting on us. We have to understand this code and be able to accomplish this code. And there's 6 or 7 steps I've come across. The only reason I think these are the ones that work is just from being old and being around a long time and seeing all these things. But number 6 is compassion. We've talked about kindness and positive and patience and all kind of stuff, but compassion, let's understand what this really means. Now, before we kind of get full blast into this, remember your little practice session. You're supposed to be walking up to the mirror every once in a while and taking a look in. We're trying to get to the point where we can be happy and cause others around us to be happy. And the way we can do that is come to realization of these steps we're talking about, and that it's actually fun being me. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, is it fun being me? And if you're not able to confidently say that, we still got a little work to do. So don't forget about that. Keep up. Now, suffering of others, that's what compassion is. Are you concerned for the suffering of others? Now, it's a 2-part. This is the main thing here to try to get focused in our minds, the concerns for suffering of others. Do we have that? Do we even know what it means? Let's look at part 2. The concerns for the suffering of others, but it's accompanied by the wish to relieve the suffering. How many times through our life have we walked by somebody or saw somebody on TV, saw somebody on the street, and kind of maybe even point at them, not with our finger necessarily, but with our eyes, just point at them and say, well, I feel sorry for that person, as you continue to walk by? That's not compassion. We actually are concerned about their suffering, but we're going to try to find a way. We're going to have some thoughts, some ideas how we can relieve that suffering. And your close friends and family, they go through life too, just like you do, and it's not easy. Life causes suffering. Things don't work out like we hope. This is not a storybook we get to write, but we have to live it. So compassion. Now let's think. A couple of questions. How do I feel about my friends and family? Deep down inside, how do I feel about them? Next, does their suffering really affect me? Does it cause some kind of, a sympathy? Do we feel bad because they're suffering? But then, what can we do about it? Is there anything we can help? And remember, when people are going through some real hard times in life, there's no magic words. When people lose a loved one due to whatever disease or something, there's no magic words. We think there are. We try to throw some at them. We might even throw some scripture at them, but there's no magic words. So be careful. Don't say too much, because sometimes that doesn't really help. Sometimes people in a suffering situation, especially the loss of a loved one, just stand close to them, hold their hand. But be careful about trying to say too many magic words, because they just bounce off. They're just sometimes insulting. All right, the concern for the suffering of others. Now, let's focus on one thing. You ready? Are there any stories out there about me and compassion? Point at yourself, me, you. Are there any stories floating around that people recognize you and relate you to compassion? If there's not, you definitely have some homework. Go back to understanding. Here we go. Here's a saying. The Dalai Lama, is that a real person? That's who's attributed to this saying. Other people got their name put by it, but they just stole it from whoever the Dalai Lama is. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. How about that? This might be, we've led up to possibly the most important part of this whole series of videos. So compassion, the concerns for the suffering of others, but it's accompanied by you're going to try to do something about it. The wish to relieve their suffering. That's compassion. Go back and watch, if you hadn't seen all the videos, go back and watch them in order. They're numbered. My YouTube channel will be listed there so you can see all 6 of them, 7 of them now, and there's 1 more to go. But take a look. It don't take long. These are short videos. But remember, am I concerned about others? Will I do something about it? And do I have any stories about me and compassion floating around out there in my world? Anyway, this is Terry, and I hope you enjoyed that. It's a short one, but got 1 more coming, a couple of days. So go out and have some fun, and then search for more, right? So sounding off from McHenry Creek in Martindale, Arkansas. Have a great day.